Hey, what's up everybody? Back at it. Figured I'd do another video. It's been a while since I did one about the car. Been doing the car show stuff here lately. It's this time of year, stuff's starting to wrap up, and car shows are just been like one right after the other. So I hope you enjoyed those videos. Got some progress to show on the frame today, and some updates on some stuff that I purchased recently, and I think one of them might be able to help you. So stick around and I'll get you set up for that, and we'll talk more about that. All right, so talking about the frame, got some progress to show on that. Finally got the rear completely boxed, top, bottom, and sides. Let's see, I got the rear arches, inner arches done. Just everything's, sorry if the light's blocking the view or not, but everything's tacked up. Still have to do outside arches yet, but I'm currently working on that as we speak. Let's see, got these guys, both the lower control mounts for the rear, and got the top plates on, and left the gap so I can completely weld this whole area. I was kind of concerned about the factory weld. Even though I went over everything, I wanted to make sure I was able to tie this plate in with my factory welds on the frame and get that real nice and strong. So that's where I'm at on those. Got these inners, went into the tunnel. So I'm gonna, when I cut out the bottom of the tunnel, I'm gonna be doing reinforcements inside this whole thing up until the carrier bearing, which is somewhere up in here. So let's see, I ran out of steel, so I'm getting some more steel tomorrow. I'm gonna start plating these. Obviously do these on the outside here, but I can tell you from just from this experience, this plate here and that plate, sorry, that plate there was hands down one of the hardest things I've ever done with metal fabrication. And I've been doing this stuff going on 20 years. Those were very tough, because the way this works, and I'm sure somebody's gonna say, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. And you're right. This thing has a curve like this. And then as this plate comes down, it curves this way. And, you know, I don't know if you would call that a compound curve, but you can kind of sort of see it like right there. So to get that all in one piece from there all the way down to the back, that was tough. But in the end, I think it's gonna make for a nicer bend and nicer, you know, weld up. And yeah, you'll never see that because the body will be sitting on top of that, but I'll know it's right, and I won't have to worry about it. So, oh yeah, so that's all completely filled in now. So it's coming together pretty good. But the one thing I wanted to show you that I've got that I think might be able to help you guys is in this box right here. And I'll show you that now. So this was one of those things where I always wanted one, but couldn't really justify the purchase of one until I had a need for one. And I can tell you that cutting out these plates is, I went through 50 of those. So that's another 50. So 50 total cutoff discs and just these plates. So hopefully this plasma cutter is gonna speed things up. I'll do an unboxing here in a minute. I don't know that I'll be able to run it just yet, because I'm still working on the compressor side of things. But I'll get the box opened up and show you the contents of that. Oh, and right now they are on sale at Jegs. So I think this one was $2.89. That was shipped to the door. And yeah, it's probably not, you know, the most high-end, best quality product, but if it does this one job for me, then it will have paid for itself, because this has been really difficult to cut all this stuff with cut-off wheels. So let me get you set up. We'll get it opened up and show you what's inside. All right, let's get this thing opened up. So in case any of you are wondering, this is a 110 unit that is also 220 compatible. It has an extra plug, accessory plug, whatever you want to call it, that will step up the voltage for you. I don't have 220 currently in my garage. I'm still working on getting that taken care of, but this is a 20 to 40 amp machine. So as long as I'm under probably about 30 amps, it should be okay. This thing will do aluminum, it'll do stainless. Don't know if it'll do titanium, but I know most guys will never mess with the titanium side of things, but in the lowrider world, if you're trying to do like scrape plates or blocks, this would be super helpful to have. And I'm also not a paid advertiser for any of this stuff. So, you know, I'm not paid by Jakes to say anything. All I'm saying is that I saw this on sale and I thought this was in my budget for what I needed to do with it. So, comes with a user manual. We'll read that eventually. This looks to be the hoses for the torch head assembly. Oh, it's the actual handle cutter portion itself. The one, out of all the reviews I read, the only complaint really that I could find that people weren't super crazy about was the fact that the button for this thing is on the back instead of having like a finger control, you know, on the front. But you can actually switch these out to like the Eastwood style or maybe even the Harbor Freight ones, because even though this thing is branded Jags, a lot of these products come from the same place, they come from the same facility where they're manufactured. So it's a lot of the same parts, just rebranded. Throw this out of the way. Let's see, this is the adapter plug I was telling you about. So 110, 220, pretty heavy duty. I've got the same setup for my Eastwood TIG welder, my TIG 200, and I've used both and it works perfect. You can't complain with it. So it's a pretty heavy duty cord. You know what I mean? It's not really chintzy. Comes with basically like a shield that has a small little lens, probably maybe a 4 or 5 number lens. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look in the book, but basically just fold the corners. You can use a welding helmet. You can use goggles for these things. I have my welding helmet. I actually have the goggles too from when I used to do a lot of torch cutting. Let's see, what else we got? Power cord, clamp, ground clamp. This was the other thing I kind of heard guys were complaining about was these tend to wear out. But I mean, ground clamps, you know what I mean? They're a dime a dozen. It's a pretty generic fitment. You can get these things anywhere, and I mean, as long as you don't abuse it, take care of it, it should be okay. And if it wears out, I'll either replace it or just make my own, whatever. So that's that. So the unit itself, I believe, from what I read online, I think they said it weighs about 29 pounds. So it's pretty small. Let's see what else it has. Extra, looks like extra lenses for the little helmet shield they give you. And it's got a brush and like a small little, hammer to tap out the plates and things that you cut. But I mean, let's be honest, it's cool they provided it, but you're gonna have something better than that. And this is the handle for the helmet, see, when you hold it up. So that's that. As far as the machine goes, it looks very, very similar to an Eastwood unit, how their lower budget based ones are set up. I mean, the controls are damn near identical. I'll bring you guys forward and show you some of that stuff. So we have our air pressure, and this is going to change that by turning this and then locking it in. I'm sorry, this here's our pressure. This is our amperage, and then it's just got a traditional style rocker switch for the on and off. And then for our ground clamp, and then these two are for the actual torch head for the compressed air to go through, and then for the electric to provide it to the handle. Yes, it is branded Jegs. Sorry, I got my camera backwards right now. Yeah, it's, you know, it is what it is. I mean, we're talking 280 bucks. So like I said, if it does one job for me, especially this frame job, then I'll be happy with it. I don't care. But from what I read online, most guys are, you know, a year or two into using these because they haven't been around through Jegs for very long, and the you know, it's a 4.5 to 5 stars out of a 5-star rating, so it's pretty decent rating. But like I said, a lot of these products, I mean, even my Eastwood, they're all made in the same manufacturing facility and use the same internal parts. They might change the layout a little bit for their, you know, for Jegs' brand specific, but they're all the same. It's all the same product. Until you step up to a Lincoln or a Miller or a Hypotherm or any other big, you know, big name company, that's when you start getting a more specific product. And obviously, you know, they say you get what you pay for. So yes, I haven't fired it up yet, but I've bought, you know, thousands of dollars of stuff through Jegs and never really had any issues with Jegs. If something didn't work out, I could always send it back and never had a problem there. So I'm still working on the compressor part, like I said, so I'll get that and get everything set up, and then we'll do a test run and get to cutting on this 3/16 for the rest of this plate. I gotta go, like I said, I'm going to get some more steel tomorrow, so we'll get back on that and I can try and get this thing knocked out. My goal is to have this painted, suspension installed, and on its wheels by spring. And it's what, September 15th. So yeah, that seems like it's a long ways away, but it's really not. And for me, I'm just doing a couple hours here, a couple hours there. And I've been telling everybody this right here, this is a month of Sundays, literally a month of Sundays. And it's just, I probably could have had it done a lot faster had I had a plasma cutter from the get-go, but I figured I would give the grinding cut-off wheel a try, and it's done its job. It's just really time-consuming. So hopefully this should speed things up a lot. So I'll get this camera flipped around. I got something else I want to show you guys that I talked about in one of the last car show videos, and I think you'll be surprised when you see it, so hang tight. All right, so the next thing is something I talked about in a previous video. Just a little backstory. I'm old enough to remember, like, my mom, when I was growing up, my mom had a pretty cool stereo system and stuff like that. And I always remember she had this box that beat to the music and lit up and all those sorts of things. And I just remember thinking that was the coolest thing. And yeah, it was probably something from the 70s, you know, but I always thought it was really, really cool. And then fast forward to the mid-90s when I started reading Lowrider magazine and really getting into what the culture was about, and you know how some trends carried over into other areas, and the things that have stayed through the test of time. So I had to have something for my car, and I am proud to say that this is a Vibracolor color bar. So color bar, that is, like I said this before, it will beat up, it will beat and light to the music and dance. This particular one came with 2 different lenses. It came with the fisheye, which was really popular in the 70s, but also the seller, through Vibracolor color bars on Instagram, I made a request for diamond, and I don't know how well that shows up, but this is a really tough piece to come by, because they quit making this stuff probably early 80s, I would guess. So he said, yeah, sure, man, I'll take care of you. This is a 2-bar, so it's like, I think it's speed and sensitivity. but I've got red, blue, green, and purple lights in it, and it mounts up under the dash. So I know a lot of you who are on this watching my channel because of the low riding thing, you already know about all this, but you know, this is for like a first time person who's never seen anything like this. Yeah, it wasn't a necessity, like I had to have this to make the car work. I always thought these things were the coolest ever. And I remember watching like Cali swinging videos in the late 90s, early 2000s of everybody on like Crenshaw, and everybody had these in their cars, you know, at nighttime. And I just always thought they were the coolest little things. So I reached out to him and he got this thing to me incredibly quick. I was surprised. Super nice guy to deal with. He's on Instagram at Vibra Color Bar if you're interested. All the instructions are on the back. But the important thing he talks about, authentic hopping 62 internals, stay away from fakes. And he's right about that. There are people in different companies, and I can't name them all, and I'm not going to name any of them. I mean, just do your homework, do your research, who the internals for these things are not the best quality, and you really want to pay attention to that when you order one. And this thing wasn't cheap, but I felt that he made a really good product and was very highly recommended, and so I'm very excited about this. I'll insert a video of this thing actually working that he sent me prior to me getting this in the mail, because obviously I haven't hooked it up yet, and I won't do that for quite some time until I get the car closer. But yeah, I'll hook up the video or send the video, put the video on here. I don't own the rights to the music in the video, so just keep that in mind. But it's perfect for what I'm going for this car. Hell, even the song is like right up my alley. I actually have it in my jukebox in the house. So, but yeah, so I'll insert that video and I'll bring you back. All right, so you just saw the video of the color bar, and the thing's pretty cool. And so that's pretty much going to be it for this video. If you have any questions about the plasma cutter, I'll try and do a small little video of that when I get the air compressor hooked up, which hopefully should be by this weekend possibly. But if you have any questions about the plasma, where I ordered it, how much was it, or about the color bar, feel free to ask. If you have any questions about the frame stuff that I'm doing, again, guys, it's been in the lowrider stuff for a while. I know, everybody pretty much gets this, but this is for the guy that has no idea about any of this stuff and is just figuring it out and learning it and wanting to understand. I'm not the, expert on this stuff, but I'm doing it, and I can tell you pretty much anything you want to know about it. So feel free to ask. And thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And we'll see you on the next one here real soon. Take care.